Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Of all businesses and otherwise along the way, you here are in attendance with one of the most exciting dates in our annual year. And today, of course, we always are so excited because the Chamber of Commerce and our Kiwanis Club of Medicine Hat host the mayor of Medicine Hat, Linnsie Clark. And so we'll get to her later on because she's here. Last year, by the way, I looked at the table where she was and she wasn't there. I became quite excited, by the way. I thought somebody had kidnapped her right in the middle of our event. But she came back. So thank you. Thank you. So ladies and gentlemen, as I said before, the Kiwanis Club used to have an annual gathering where the mayor came in to speak about what has happened in the past year and also what the vision for the future. And then with the Chamber of Commerce about 15 years ago joined with us, so we have now a partnership, so a triple partnership. The Chamber of Commerce, Kiwanis Club of Medicine Hat, and the City of Medicine Hat. Now, let us just, for just a moment then, if you can stand, fine. If you can't stand, okay. We're going to ask Randy Ferry, the beautiful dulcet tones, and he's going to sing "O Canada" for us. So please stand.
O Canada, our home and native land, true patriot love in all of us command. With glowing hearts we see thee rise, the true north strong and free. From far and wide, O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. God keep our land glorious and free. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee. O Canada, we stand on guard for thee.
Now, please stay standing for the invocation. I'm sorry, I should have told you that ahead of time. So, Percival Perry Burgum, the chairman or president of the Kiwanis Club of Medicine Hat, will provide the invocation for us.
Let us pray together, each of us according to our individual beliefs. We live in a great country and also a great city where we enjoy many freedoms and privileges. For this and the food prepared for us, may we be truly thankful. As we enjoy these freedoms and privileges, let us always be mindful of the needs of others less fortunate. Amen.
Thank you. Now you may be seated. Thank you very much, Perry, and thank you, Randy. I tell you what, being a Canadian and having that voice singing "O Canada" just makes the hair on your arms just stand straight out. So again, I'm now going to introduce a few people. I could introduce all of you, by the way. I'd love to do that. But they didn't give me the list of names, but they did give me a list of names of the very important persons, so I shall do that. And because some people may feel badly if they don't get the same applause as the other person, when I introduce a group, let's just wait until the group has been introduced and then give them a hearty round of applause. So, my list is completely confusing me here, by the way, and one has to be careful, and do excuse me if I do make mistakes. So first of all, we have from Lethbridge, all the way from Lethbridge for this exciting event, Shannon Phillips, who is the MLA for Lethbridge. Shannon, would you stand and be recognized? Where did she go? Oh, all right, okay. We have a representative of the Brooks Medicine Hat, where the Premier herself is the MLA, but she's represented today by Kirsten Spish. Kirsten, where are you? Oh, okay, thank you. And then we have Mayor Linnsie Clark, of course. If you just this is what I come a brief introduction. Here you are, Mayor of Medicine Hat. And now those glad hands that work with her on City Council who are here today. We have Alison Van Dyke. Just if you would stand. Oh. Now the people will feel badly but you stay standing, Alison, okay? And that way, okay. By the way, I love to see some of the members of the City Council because I worked with some of these people in various walks of my life. Nice to see them here too. Robert Dumanowski. Thank you, Robert. Oh, well. You are most kind. Sheila Sharps. Okay. Darren Hirsch. Cassie Hyder. Ramona Robbins. And Andy McGrogan. Thank you very much, City Council members. The Mayor of Redcliffe, our old friend Dwight Kilpatrick. There he is. Oh, we have some members from, oh yes. Larry Liepert from the town of Redcliffe. Thank you, Larry. And from Cypress County, Richard Oster. By the way, that's just like Old Home Week because, as I say, we know all these people and have known them for years. Kind of nice to be in this family gathering. Base Commander at Canadian Forces Base Suffield, Lieutenant Colonel Stephen Burke. And accompanying him is the Chief Warrant Officer, Regimental Sergeant Major Phil Paquette, Canada Forces Base. Welcome. Great partner of us in the City of Medicine Hat, by the way. And all we hear little rumors here and there, but keep fighting for us. We love having you around. Okay. Perhaps I could just ask the city staff, the executive staff, if they would be so kind as to stand in a moment. But first of all, the Chief of Staff, Adam Nelson, our new city manager, who starts in February, Ann Mitchell. By the way, I know she's there too, but I'm just going to say, welcome, Ann, because you're not officially on your job, but nice to have you. I remember being president of the Alberta Urban Municipalities Association, and we used to meet with our rural counterparts, and I was always impressed by the effectiveness and the efficiency of the managers of the various rural counties. So looking forward to working here with you in Medicine Hat. And then I just had the pleasure of meeting our new police chief, and the newly appointed police chief, Alan Murphy. So Al. Welcome again, Alan. And by the way, he's protected by two good officers, Brent Secondiac and Joe West. So take care of the chief there, fellows. Well, I just am trying to find what's going on here. Oh, I guess I'm moving along quite nicely, by the way, with alacrity. Alacrity means with quickness. It's not very likely to be quickness, is it, the way I'm going here? And so I'd like to just introduce the Chamber of Commerce people. Their new president, by the way, Trevor Anhill. If you stand, please. Scott Lair, past president. Vice President now, first Vice President, Steve Hyde. My old neighbor, Doug Little. And Sarah Franchetta. Sarah. Wow. Have I missed anybody that would like to be introduced? Oh, that's correct, because I have a little note at the bottom here saying that our friend Drew Barnes has arrived as well. So Drew Barnes, Medicine Hat, Cyprus. And I've known Drew since he's been a boy of 12. How could I miss you, Drew? Oh, terrible situation. What I'm going to do now is actually explain the process, by the way. And this is a good one, because what happened is on Sunday night, we met with some accountants, and they have selected the rotation of tables to go for eating. We're just about ready to start. First of all, I would like to say thank you to the Lodge for serving a delicious lunch. Always nice that we have this nice environment for our event. When the mayor will be speaking, you can carry on if you would. And as I say, it's going to be an important message about what has happened in the past year and what is going to take place perhaps in the future. And again, you see, I look around the room and I say, where is the mayor? I keep wondering, Chief, police chief, and the two inspectors, if you could find the mayor, we'll be all set to go. I'm just kidding. They just asked if we could have a moment or two. The important thing here is while we wait for the mayor to come back here, I want to just say something about, well, here she is. Ladies and gentlemen, what a pleasure. We have this young lady who grew up south of Medicine Hat, and I happen to know her father and her uncle and stuff like that. It was kind of nice to see a local lady come in here and taking charge of Medicine Hat. She graduated from Medicine Hat High School, and then I went on to university and then worked for a while in Vancouver, and then came back to the city of Medicine Hat, and here she is, 1 year under her belt. And ladies and gentlemen, what a pleasure to introduce to you Mayor Linnsie Clark. I'll take my water. Okay.
It's going to be long. So I am so very happy. Oh, I got to get my clicker. To be here with you, and that all of you were generous enough to take the time out of your day to join me for the 2023 State of the City, especially because it is National Compliments Day. So it's extra special. There's nothing quite like the warmth that comes to the soul of the giver and receiver of a forced compliment. So I hope to receive many today. So most members of council have already been introduced. The only person that isn't here today is Councillor Knodel, Councillor Allison Knodel. She was not able to attend. But there was a little video recorded that allows each of the counselors to kind of share with you what their highlights of 2022 were.
Was my swearing in. To that was such a visceral, emotional response for me when I was being sworn in. I think you work so hard during the election, and then you realize the gigantic responsibility that you're taking on, and the moment was surreal, and it was very visceral for me, and I can still feel that when I talk about it or when I think back to it.
My most memorable experience in the past year was dining on Finley Bridge for the Together Again Festival. Just sitting with citizens and talking about how wonderful it was to be together was a really memorable experience to me.
The day we spent riding around the city on the trolley and seeing all of the COVID stimulus projects as they were completed, and it was a big celebration. It was pretty amazing to see all of the various recreational facilities and locations in the city that had received funding.
Watching over 100 people fill into the chamber for the night of our skateboard bylaw vote. There was people from elementary school age all the way to the middle of their life with a strong opinion about whether or not we should open up access to downtown for skateboarding. And it was an adrenaline rush sitting in the chairs around the horseshoe, but it was a spectacular experience to see so many people who cared about something come in and sit down and be part of the conversation.
Being one of the few cities in North America accepted as a participant in Strong Town's inaugural Community Action Lab was a highlight for me. Strong Town's principles were prevalent in several council members' campaigns, including my own, as well as in council's strategic plan. I'm also very pleased about the way we're coming together as a council, together with our PR advisor and chief of staff. Not just in terms of developing our collective goals, but also in terms of the updates we've made with the help of our city clerk's office to our processes and dealing with more items in an open setting. This work will be continuing over the coming year.
We can focus our energies now on things that matter to the Hatters. Ultimately, it was a challenging effort to get our books in order. Now that we've done that, we can really do some amazing things.
I am most proud of the work that we did with the Truth and Reconciliation Recommendations Committee. Answering the calls to action was really important.
Working together around the horseshoe with different counselors with different dynamics and finding our feet. Pretty much all of us are new, so it was the first year was really a learning curve for me, and I'm loving it and really loving being part of the community this way.
Well, I've learned so much from the community. I thought coming from my previous life, I knew the community quite well, but I've really seen the community in a whole different light. I now know how important the small things are. It's really, to me, the biggest learning point has been people really care about the micro issues, and you have to be on them. So I think of anything, that's what I've learned about our citizens. They really care, and they want us to look after the small things in the community that make our community what it is.
I didn't realize how engaged our community was. I think during the election, it's easy to get engaged or to see that engagement. But when you're out of an election, what's interesting is to see the emails that we get, the phone calls we get, the text messages. Just walking down the street, I'll get, Councillor Sharps, can I tell you something? Or can I give you some feedback? And it's from people, everyday people, from business owners to people just shopping with their kids and employed someplace else. And it is incredible to see how engaged our community is. They don't always agree, and nor should they, but they're incredibly engaged with what's happening.
The citizens of Medicine Hat love their community, love to be engaged, want nothing but the best for their children, for their grandchildren. They're very passionate about their beliefs and their different parts of different neighborhoods and the community as a whole, so it's lots of passionate people within the community.
I have learned that there is a great deal of innovation happening right here in our community. Whether it's entrepreneurs starting new businesses with novel products, our existing tech and industrial businesses, our social servicing organizations, or local artists and musicians, Medicine Hat has a lot of talented people doing incredible things.
Over the last year, the thing that I found most challenging was the magnitude of information we have to process and make decisions with, as well as the level of emotion that goes with being at a table with 8 other people with different opinions and coming to a resolution that is grounded and balanced and fair.
Navigating through COVID, ensuring that the people at Medicine Hat were safe, that they had services that they could count on. We, as a former council member and the new council, had the unenviable position of ensuring that the people at Medicine Hat would weather this COVID situation as best possible, and I'm proud of the opportunities that we created.
For me, the most challenging thing was scheduling. Because there's so much opportunity to participate in community events, there's a lot of meetings to attend and learning opportunities and ways to connect with people in the community. And so scheduling it all for me was the hardest part.
I'm most looking forward to working with Council and Administration to operationalize our strategic plan, including by identifying the key objectives we want to achieve over the course of our term, as well as metrics of success for each of those objectives. In addition to working with strong towns through the Community Action Lab to accelerate some of the items in our strategic plan, the MDP, and other city plans. We are also going to be initiating a series of town halls over the coming year, which I am really looking forward to. And of course, strengthening our regional partnerships and continuing the work started with the Business Retention and Expansion and Workforce Development Report, and more recently, the Economic Growth Forum held at the Medicine Hat College.
You know, we've got a year underneath our belt now, and I'm really seeing the collective vision of council starting to form. I think we've got, 9 passionate individuals that definitely care for this community, and just listening to different perspectives has been really interesting for me in this last year.
Having a city budget where we're no longer requiring and dependent on a dividend that is no longer available to us, that we are self-sustaining, we're no longer having to use reserves to offset our tax base. A community that's growing, it's vibrant, and full of families and friends and good company.
Getting some of the things done that we've talked about over the past year. I've really felt that we've been kind of slow getting out of the gates because of some of the things that I've talked around our, the different shortages of staff, and coming out of COVID, it was just a strange time. But I really don't see any reason now why we can't start moving forward on some of the things that we've talked about around, our future of our rec facilities, of our streets and trails, and really bringing this city to a place where, when I'm done my term on council, that I feel that we've actually made a difference and made this community a better community.
Great job, guys, and thank you, Tim. I didn't actually know I was going to be in that one, so that's basically my whole speech. I'm still going to give it, though. I also wanted to make sure I recognized our ELT, our Executive Leadership Team. So first we have Rochelle Pankos. She's the Managing Director of Strategic Management and Analysis. She also happens to be currently acting as our city manager, acting managing director of Invest Medicine Hat, acting director of land development and real estate, and acting director of investment and strategic planning. So, no big deal. Brian Mastel, managing director of public services, couldn't be here today. Dennis Egert, managing director of corporate services. And Brad Maines, with Managing Director of Energy and Infrastructure. Thank you. pretty great team. Oh, I gotta advance here. There is one more person that I wanted to introduce, but Dr. Ken Sauer kind of stole my thunder on it, no big deal. And that is Ann Mitchell, our new city manager. Ann is coming to us from Lethbridge County, where she has been the CAO since 2018. She has an extensive experience in local government. She spent 27 years in local government, with 18 of those being as a chief administrative officer with progressively larger communities. She's a collaborator, a relationship builder, innovator, and strategic thinker, and was recently recognized with the Women of Influence in Municipal Government Award from Municipal World magazine. We are very, very, very glad that Ann is joining us as our city manager, and look forward to her starting on February 6th, where she will attend her first council meeting on her first day. If you want to hear more from Ann before she starts, check out her podcast with Susan Garner, the Local Government Cafe podcast. Also, as many of you know, Brian Mastel is going to be leaving us at the end of the month. Brian has served the city well for 10 years, and we are very sad to see him go, but grateful for what he's given to the city, and wish his family and him all the best in their new adventures. So last time I was here, council had not yet released its strategic plan, so I want to take the rest of my time to comment on each of the interconnected themes: innovation, economic evolution, service orientation, partnerships and governance, community wellness, and resilience and sustainability. Then at the end of my presentation, we will have a special message from celebrity land use planner and civil engineer Chuck Marin, the founder and president of Strong Towns. And I will be referencing Strong Towns throughout my presentation. But first, I want to tell you about City Council's long-term vision for our community. Our long-term vision is centered around purposeful growth. And we are targeting a population of 110,000 by 2043. This implies a compound growth rate of 2.7% over 20 years. Obviously, growth is on everyone's community list, but what is purposeful growth, and how do we actually achieve it? Purposeful growth recognizes that not all growth is good, and in fact, some growth can be detrimental to our community. Purposeful growth means strategic and targeted industry attraction, retention, and expansion that aligns with our current and emerging competitive advantages, and that creates high-paying, high-skilled jobs. Expanding our tax base, but carefully considering the long-term infrastructure liabilities that come with that growth. Retaining existing talent in our community and attracting high-skilled individuals, including through immigration, attracting and retaining young people by creating employment opportunities that align with their aspirations, and providing a community that is inclusive, connected, and socially prosperous, a community where people want to live. Through this growth, our community has an opportunity to become more sustainable. Unlike most mid-sized cities, Medicine Hat has existing core infrastructure that will support growth. We will grow into our facilities and infrastructure, and we anticipate that our public transit system, airport, parks and trail system, and even the Medicine Hat College will all be more viable and better able to meet the needs of our residents with a population of 110,000. Our upcoming participation with Strong Towns Community Action Lab will also offer guiding principles to implement purposeful growth and this long-term community vision. So, I feel like I should ask any questions, but gotta keep on time. So our first strategic theme is innovation. So there's a podcast called It's the Little Things, and it's from Strong Towns, it's municipal podcast, and it had this little tidbit from one of its episodes from 2018 that I thought might resonate with some people in the room. No matter your current role in your city, concerned citizen, elected official, city staff, you've likely had this thought about your local government organizations. They're slow to create meaningful change. Why is that? Bureaucracy. Bureaucracy, that term you hear everyone use to explain the pace of local government organization, of course that contributes, but more so, it's the inability to create, foster, and test out ideas from everybody in the organization. It's a lack of innovation. So innovation has become a bit of a buzzword. It's been so overused and loosely used and subject to so many different definitions that it's almost been rendered meaningless by virtue of the fact that it has so many possible meanings. So each person in this room might have a different meaning of innovation. So that we're all working from the same definition, I will tell you what I mean by innovation. This definition is from O'Sullivan and Dooley's book, Applying Innovation. Innovation is the application of practical tools and techniques that makes changes, large and small, radical and incremental, to products, processes, and services that result in the introduction of something new for the organization that adds value to customers and contributes to the knowledge store of the organization. Now I want to share with you some examples of city innovation over the past year. So first up, we have our potable water station pilot. In response to an extremely hot summer last year, folks in our water department came forward with the idea of using the potable water from our fire hydrant system to provide access to clean drinking water for all members of our community. The bulk of the components of the fountains are either repurposed, existing parts, or parts that were acquired but that can be reused if the pilot does not continue. We also have a screen cap of our transit app. So on October of 2022, Public Services launched the MHT Go! App. Funded through the Investing in Canada Infrastructure Program, the app reduces the need to handle cash, allows users to implement special fares, and makes it easier to both pay a fare and manage and track users. It also provides access to My Ride, which riders can use to ensure that they have the most up-to-date information, making their transit experience as stress-free as possible. This is our cogen unit at Big Marble Go Centre in partnership with the Municipal Climate Change Action Centre's Recreation Energy Conservation Program. The City of Medicine Hat has completed the installation and commissioning of cogeneration, or combined heat and power generation system at the Big Marble Go Centre, and that was completed in September. The unit will generate electricity for the facility from natural gas, and any normally wasted heat will be captured and used to heat the air and the pool. This will result in a net reduction in energy use, greenhouse gas emissions, and ongoing operating costs. Second priority theme is economic evolution. Our community is facing a critical turning point as the landscape around us continues to shift. Economic development, at its core, is directing, expanding, and retaining the wealth of a community. Many, many people believe in good faith that they know how to do economic development. However, like any ecosystem, an economic ecosystem is extremely complex. By considering some of the indicators of quality of life, such as job quality, productivity, income growth, quality of material and natural living conditions, leisure, social connection, and physical and mental health, it becomes apparent that economic health, community health, and environmental health are interconnected. Economic development includes informing, attracting, retaining, and developing or expanding business, a workforce, and investment. So As many of you are aware, the city has applied for a regional economic development grant from the province. If successful, the grant will support collaborative work with our municipal and community economic development partners to develop our regional economic development strategy and a model for implementing that strategy over the long term so that it doesn't end up on a shelf collecting dust. Ultimately, the expected result of working in partnership on a regional economic development strategy is to better understand the region's priorities and competitive advantages and develop greater alignment of existing economic development strategies and efforts within the region and maximize the value of our limited economic development resources for the betterment of our region. So for the region that we've defined, it's reflective of Canada Census Division 1, which includes Medicine Hat, Cypress County, County of 40 Mile, Town of Bow Island, Town of Redcliffe, and Village of Foremost. And I'm very much looking forward to working with all of those municipalities. And of course, our community partners as well. Next up is energy transition. A major topic for the city will continue to be energy transformation and how the city will transition to align with a decarbonized future market. To that end, we will continue to optimize the natural gas generation assets that we have and develop and implement an energy transition strategy. The city is actively investigating the possibility of constructing a carbon capture plant that uses proven technologies to capture CO2 emissions. This video conveys what CCUS is and the City of Medicine Hat's progress in exploring this possibility.
Governments around the world remain committed to decarbonization, with significant economic consequences for those unable or unwilling to adapt. By pursuing critical hydrogen and carbon capture designations, the City of Medicine Hat continues to proudly and effectively position itself to prosper in a low-carbon future. This two-pronged approach provides the city with optionality, long-term in the form of a hydrogen hub concept, and in the medium term via a carbon capture utilization and storage project. While still largely in the concept phase, being host to a hydrogen hub offers tantalizing benefits. Praised for its potential as an emissions-free fuel source, hydrogen could one day power energy-generating turbines or be used in fuel cells to propel trains, semis, and even the city's fleet of buses and fire trucks.
We need to keep working on all options going forward to provide as many choices as possible for consumers in a decarbonized world. For the City of Medicine Hat and for others, indicates messages that we're interested in a hydrogen future. We're open for business, we're open for ideas, we're open for innovation, we're open for proposals. We're working on some of those ourselves. How can we incorporate hydrogen into our future?
Along with the city's strategic location as a potential hydrogen refueling site, our region's significant generation of renewable energy allows for the production of emissions-free or green hydrogen, further enhancing the case for Medicine Hat and area. CCUS, on the other hand, is a little farther along, with projects around the world already in operation. The City of Medicine Hat has several factors that make it an ideal location for a project to progress, including world-class geology ideally suited for the permanent storage of carbon underground, location in a seismically inactive area, a carbon-based energy generation business, a concentration of carbon-intensive industries, and close proximity to emission sources, providing a cost advantage with less pipelines required for the transport of carbon.
Of the projects out there today, we have a very good chance of being one of the ones that will actually see this come to fruition. There's some industries that are going to be very hard to decarbonize. Carbon is very much a part of either their final product or part of their actual processing stream. So regardless of how heavily you tax them, that particular business has no choice. They have to utilize that carbon molecule. So regardless of who's in power, there's going to be some cost associated, I believe, with carbon production. We view it as a fundamental part of that energy transition and progression.
Pursuing these designations signals to our residents, businesses, industry, and governments alike that the City of Medicine Hat is eager to do its part towards a successful, reduced carbon future.
The carbon tax is going to do what it was intended to do. It's going to change decision making. It could make the difference between an expansion. It could make the difference between a choice of location for a new plant. So we believe these efforts will ensure, as best we can, economic retention as well as economic attraction going forward. We believe having that carbon and hydrogen, those two designations, one project, one concept in our area, is going to be key to our economic vitality in the coming decades in a decarbonized world.
And shout out to Tim, who did the voiceover on that. Excellent. Such a rich voice. Next up, we have the completion of Unit 17. So this was a project that was started by the previous council, and in order to continue our legacy of independence power supply. Unit 17 provides an additional 43 megawatts, which not only ensures the security of our electric supply, but also puts us in an excellent position to support and attract new industry. Rural renewal stream. Addressing labor shortages is a theme across the country. The government of Alberta created the Rural Renewal Stream to support the attraction and retention of newcomers to rural Alberta through a community-driven approach. The city made a regional application with Cypress County, County of 40 Mile, Town of Redcliffe, and Town of Bow Island to become a designated community under the Rural Renewal Stream in 2022. I'm very pleased to announce that our application has been approved. This will empower our community to recruit and retain foreign nationals to work and settle here in our city, supporting our local economic development needs and contributing to the growth of our community. We also saw the offsite levy review come to fruition in 2022. This was an effort that hadn't been undertaken since 2013. Through the offsite levy review, an extensive amount of work to review the regulation changes and research existing best practices occurred, as well as a robust engagement effort with our development community. The bylaw was updated to create a framework that is more easily understood with a streamlined process. New business openings. One of the most enjoyable experiences as a council member, and I'm sure everyone would agree, is the opportunity to attend ribbon cuttings of new business and development in our community. Last year, Medicine Hat saw 388 new businesses open, and members of council were honored to attend several of these events and truly demonstrate that the individuals that open these businesses truly demonstrate the entrepreneurial disposition of our community. The success of our community is directly correlated with the success of our small businesses, and this council is committed to policy and process improvements that foster an environment that supports business owners from startup through to successful operations. City Council approved a tax incentive bylaw in 2022, a targeted incentive program designed to encourage development or redevelopment of brownfields and large-scale commercial or industrial development that create value and jobs for the city. The bylaw provides a clear framework for the provision of the tax incentives and will ensure that the city's decisions are transparent and development projects are treated in a fair and equitable manner. Strategic priority 3 is service orientation. One type of value that we hope to derive from increased innovation is improved service delivery. The late Jeff Raskin is the human-computer interface guru that started the Macintosh project in Apple. And while his quote in our strategic plan is in computer language, it nicely explains what we need to strive for with respect to service delivery. What users want is convenience and results, but all they see is the interface. As far as the customer is concerned, the interface is the product. An interface is humane if it is responsive to human needs and considerate of human frailties. If you want to create a human interface, you must cultivate in yourself a sensitivity to the difficulties that people experience. That is not necessarily a simple undertaking. We become accustomed to the ways products work to the extent that we come to accept their methods as a given, even when their interfaces are unnecessarily complex, confusing, wasteful, and provocative of human error. So over the course of our term, we want to improve how the city interfaces with our community. So our Planning and Development Service Department is working to streamline our planning and permit process. Counter service is still available, but those who are comfortable can use the contractor zone on our website to submit a development, building, and trade permit, book inspections, and more. We recognize that this is an area where we need to engage in continuous improvement and be open and responsive to the needs of our development community. I hope to have more to report to you at next year's State of the City. We also did a community survey in 2022. The city engaged Ipsos to conduct our first community survey, intended to provide a baseline measure of community sentiment that can be repeated to monitor how perceptions are changing. Some of the results were quite encouraging. For example, 90% of residents were satisfied with city services, 95% of residents were satisfied with the quality of life. However, the survey also revealed that the city has room for improvement with respect to communication with residents, with only 76% of respondents agreeing that they were satisfied with the communication from the city. We also scored relatively low but above the norm on using input from citizens in decision making and providing citizens with opportunities to have meaningful input in decision making. The full results are on our website, and again, as I said, this is the baseline so that we continue to measure our progress over time. Partnerships and governance is our fourth strategic priority. At the recent Economic Growth Forum held at Medicine Hat College, the MC, Jay Sanderson, shared a quote that I liked: "Do what you love and partner for the rest." On the governance side, we can earn trust, thereby improving our partnerships through transparency, accountability, and ensuring that when we make decisions, we do so in an informed manner, which includes relying on evidence and hearing from members of our community who will be impacted by that decision. We're also undertaking a government relations strategy. As our economic outlook shifts, it's critical to our future that we take a more active role in engaging our regional, provincial, and federal partners. This includes the development of government relations strategy and a determination of the priorities that we will be advocating for on behalf of the residents of Medicine Hat. This work has already begun, and we will continue with prioritization over the next year. Although this is not the most exciting work, Council will support, with support from administration, have been working behind the scenes to bring our outdated bylaws and policies and procedures up to date with current best practices. This will be an ongoing project throughout our term. We also have new opportunities to connect with Council. Many of you already know about Shape Your City, but work is also already underway to host a series of town halls, each targeting a different community group. This will allow us to have open and meaningful dialogue between the public and elected officials and city administration. If you would like to host a town hall, please contact Rachel at 403-529-8181. These community building initiatives do not end with council. Grassroots community building is also vital to the health of our community. In response to this, the community supports team is working with a number of partner organizations to explore community associations and how we can support, otherwise known as neighborhood associations, and how we can support and encourage them to create a more welcoming community, including how they can benefit the community and how the city can support and influence them, support and interface with them so that as a collective, they have a voice with the city. Another way Council is looking to connect with our community is through the launch of our Facebook page. The new MedHat City Council Facebook page is a way to share the activities of City Council and myself, help keep Hatters up to date on political issues that may affect them or spark their interest, and allow a space to create meaningful dialogue. Hopefully meaningful, respectful dialogue.
Have you seen Facebook?
No. Strategic priority 5 is community wellness. This council has clearly identified that community wellness must be a priority of ours. We have to focus on ensuring that we live in a vibrant community that attracts and retains residents and fosters a sense of security and belonging for our residents. Council continues to drive progress on truth and reconciliation, acting on the advice of the Truth and Reconciliation Recommendations Committee brought forward in June 2022. We will continue to share our actions around truth and reconciliation as we move towards a more inclusive community. So, 2022 also saw the return of community events. And I think I speak for all of us when I say it was such a joy to see the community come together at events like the Stampede, the Deep Dark in Police Point Park, World Cup, soccer at the Esplanade, Art in Motion, Midnight Madness, and concerts like Sawyer, Brown, Lone Star, with 2,800 tickets sold, and much more. And of course, I would be remiss not to mention the biggest festival of them all, Together Again. I'll let you watch the video. The festival was truly incredible, and the aerial photos from the bridge were just incomparable to anything I've ever seen in the city. So it was so cool. And it was made possible through a grant from Heritage Canada, so thank you very much to them. We're also doing a community well-being update through 2023 and 24. The need to create an updated version and strategy for well-being and areas of focus and action to achieve this vision is urgent and necessary. Medicine Hat, like other cities across the country, has seen an increase in social challenges on multiple fronts. The Community Wellbeing Plan will identify priority areas for improvement based on community needs and specific actions required to achieve community well-being in Medicine Hat over the next 10 years. A consultant has been enlisted to help with this effort, and you can expect to see opportunities for community engagement in 2023. Acknowledging the financial strain that many of our members of our community are experiencing due to the rising costs of goods and services, we've made efforts to support those most in need in our community. The city's Fair Entry program helps low-income families and individuals afford popular city programs. That P's really popping, sorry. In December, Council approved a motion to amend the program to include transit, increase the subsidy rate for eligible services from 50 to 75%, and increase the maximum user fee assistance per eligible resident per year for recreation and Esplanade education programs. City Council also approved a rebate for Medicine Hat utility account holders that meet the low income threshold. If you or someone you know could benefit from this program, please encourage them to apply on our website or contact our customer service department. In December 2022, Council approved a land donation to Medicine Hat Community Housing located on Spencer Street, which is just off Kipling Street. This unusual land parcel will soon be home to 80 affordable housing units constructed by the Medicine Hat Community Housing Society. The city will be updating its 2020 cycling plan to become a more comprehensive active transportation plan, taking public opinion and evolving modes of transportation into account. The city will be engaging with various stakeholders and community members throughout 2023 to create a plan that's valued by all users. Last but not least, we have, I always say it backwards, resilience and sustainability. Understanding how the environment, economy, and community are interconnected is key to being a vibrant, sustainable, and enduring community. We must understand our long-term obligations and be mindful of maintaining healthy city finances. We need to value the role of our natural environment, recognize and articulate social and environmental returns on investment, and prioritize our needs over our wants. Managing our long-term maintenance obligations is an ongoing priority. In 2022, we saw a number of significant infrastructure renewal projects. If you're curious about major projects throughout the year, particularly during the construction season, please visit our interactive maps on our website. Environmental framework. Early on in our term, Council directed staff to complete the long talked about environmental framework. This framework will be partially grant funded and identifies strategies around water conservation, energy, air quality, climate, ecosystem, ecology, and green economy and agriculture. Stay tuned for public engagement opportunities in 2023. I am very excited to talk to you today about a bold initiative that will support us in becoming a resilient and sustainable community, the Strong Towns Community Action Lab. We are thrilled to be one of only a handful of communities selected to participate in this initiative. Strong Towns is a registered nonprofit based out of Minnesota. They seek to change the way we develop communities and advocate for good city planning in all realms, including transportation, residential neighborhoods, active transportation, and city infrastructure, all with a focus on fiscal sustainability and resilience. The Community Action Lab is a 2-year project designed to introduce Strong Towns ideas to our community, shift the conversation, and kickstart the implementation of a Strong Towns approach. It combines multiple events and information sharing, community building, training, and mentoring. Strong Towns was established by Charles Chuck Marin, a civil engineer and city planner. He is the author of several popular planning books, including Strong Towns, A Bottom-Up Revolution to Build American Prosperity, and Confessions of a Recovering Engineer, Transportation for a Strong Town. And here's Chuck to tell us a little bit more.
Greetings, this is Chuck Marone. I'm the president and founder of Strong Towns, and I'm really excited to chat with you today, particularly because we're going to be heading your way soon with the Community Action Lab. The Community Action Lab is the best of Strong Towns. We have taken everything that we do with messaging and ideas and action and package them together into one program called the Community Action Lab. In the Community Action Lab, we're going to be sharing a lot of content, a lot of ideas across many different platforms. We're going to be coming to Medicine Hat to do a series of events and public engagements. And we're setting up an action team and a leadership team to help guide us through this process and guide your community through this process. The action team is going to be a group of people that we work with intimately to put Strong Towns ideas into action, starting with the struggles that you have right now and saying, how do we reimagine these? How do we think of these in a different way? And the leadership team is the community conversation, the kind of way we talk about these issues in a big picture sense. We're really excited to be bringing these ideas to Medicine Hat. And Medicine Hat in particular jumped out at us. You know, we had almost 24 different communities that applied for this program. We chose you, and we chose you for a couple of reasons. You really stood out to us in some significant ways. First, you do have great leadership. The leadership in Medicine Hat is great at communication, expressed to us a very kind of proactive vision for the community. People there think a lot of the place, and we were impressed with the overall approach. We're also deeply impressed with your staff. It's not often you get a staff that is as thoughtful and curious as yours. And while I recognize that, you know, we're going to come with things that people might say, whoa, hang on a sec. There might also be other things where people are like, we're going to have a really good dialogue, but I think we're starting from a really strong place. And that's a strong place of great leadership and kind of a deep commitment to curiosity and thoughtfulness within the staff. The community is something we're excited to meet. I have been to Medicine Hat myself. Just as someone who passed through, didn't get to spend a lot of time there. I'm excited to come and spend time there. Other parts of our team are going to be, other members of our team are going to be part of those visits, and they're excited to come too. In fact, I just got off the plane from Florida, where we kicked off our very first Action Lab. And on the way home, was chatting with some people and said, I'm really super excited for Medicine Hat. Not only because I'm a hardy northerner, right? I'm from Minnesota, but because I think your community is very special. I think has a lot to offer. And of all the places that we have scheduled for this coming year, it's the one place that I have circled as being not the biggest adventure. I think that's maybe the wrong way to say it. But the place with like the greatest upside potential. We're going to have a lot of fun together. We're going to explore a lot of ideas together. We're going to chart a very exciting path, and we're going to engage the community in a broad set of very exciting ideas. So February 7th is our kickoff event. I'm looking forward to seeing all of you. And in the meantime, keep doing what you can to build a strong town. See you soon, Medicine Hat.
So as Chuck mentioned, if you want to learn more about Strong Towns and Community Action Lab project, plan to attend our first community event on February 7th at the Esplanade. You can register to attend on our website, and everyone is welcome. So that concludes my formal remarks. This year has been a whirlwind, full of change, sometimes very good change, and then more change. I am truly looking forward to working with everyone in this room and our community at building out the vision and the strategic priorities of this council. I am enthusiastic for 2023 and plan to keep my stick on the ice. So thank you. Do I stay or do I go?
Well, thank you very much. Well, what a scintillating and exciting technical production we have here. All good things happening along the way. And I want to let you know, by the way, that I sit there with wonder because I was involved with education, I was involved with municipal affairs, I was involved with health. So I'm a pest. But I do know that my job when I first came to Medicine Hat was to improve the quality of life so that we would bring people in here to raise their families and be in a vibrant community. And you're on your way. Thank you very much. Now, I'm going to ask Trevor Anhill to come up here and present a thank you and also perhaps a little thank you for a charity of the Mayor's choice. Come up, Trevor.
I'm not sure whose idea it was to have me follow Mayor Linnsie Clark, but wow, what a presentation. Thank you. Yeah, very well done. Thank you. And someone who wasn't recognized today by a round of applause, Dr. Ken Sauer, so many years of leadership and service to our community. Thank you for everything you do. Incredible. On behalf of the Medicine Hat and District Chamber of Commerce, I'd like to extend my thank you to everyone here for supporting this event. It is absolutely so great to see so many people out today. I'd also like to give a special thank you to the Kiwanis Club of Medicine Hat for providing us the opportunity to partner on the state of the city. Thank you. At this time, on behalf of the Chamber of Commerce Board of Directors and its members, I'd like to thank Mayor Clark for taking the time to speak with us today. The Chamber is looking forward to further developing our relationship with the Mayor, Council, as we continue to make progress on our priorities. I do want to talk a little bit about some priorities that stood out for us, Mayor Clark, in your presentation. Absolutely phenomenal. I say a few priorities that stood out. I've actually got quite the list, so bear with me here. But purposeful growth, target population of 100,000, attraction of high-quality jobs, developing regional economic strategy, Strong Towns Initiative, future opportunities in energy, CCUS, decarbonization. We look forward to being a part of the rural renewal plans. Certainly willing to help with any town halls, your chamber. And no doubt the city has an absolutely jam-packed schedule this coming year. So again, thank you to Mayor Clark and the city. So much good to come for our region. Mayor Clark, as a token of our appreciation, I'd like to present you with a donation made in your name to a local charity of your choice. Mayor Clark has chosen the Bridges Programs Association of Southeastern Alberta. My first time. Thank you. All right. The Chamber is committed to continue to serve our business community as an essential source of information and solutions. Our priorities are member-driven. We use our collective voice for the benefit of our business community. We work to strengthen our community, act as a catalyst for growth, unite business, drive leadership, fuel success through connection, support, and influence. This event in particular allows us to connect our business community with our city to hear about success, opportunities, and challenges. By understanding our business environment, allows us to shape our priorities. Again, Mayor Clark, thank you once again for providing your insight today and always your willingness to work with us. Thank you. Mayor Clark did mention events in our community, so with that, I will wrap up by just taking this opportunity to mentioning our upcoming trade show. The Southeast Alberta Home and Leisure Trade Show will be taking place from March 3rd to 5th and will feature, as always, a little bit of everything from building renovations, landscaping, everyday essentials, and so much more. It's not too late to secure your spot. You can speak with Bailey, who's here today at the back table, or you can go to medicinehatchamber.com/trade shows. We also have various events and grand openings posted on the event page of our website at medicinehatchamber.com. Please know the Chamber's door is always open, and we encourage everyone to stop by the office, say hi to our team, and as well you can connect with us online. Thank you again, and enjoy the rest of your day. Back over to Dr. Sauer. Thank you.
Now I'd like to call, thank you very much, Trevor. I would like to call Perry Burgum up here. Come on. Well, you see how active you are in this community involvement. So Percival has a few comments, and then a thank you as well. So.
Yes, thank you to Trevor for thanking the mayor, and on behalf of the Kiwanis Club of Medicine Hat, we also appreciate you taking time out of your busy schedule to be here. We also have a donation for you to be made to the charity of your choice, which is the Bridges program. Thank you very much. We look forward to next year.
Thanks, Percival. Thank you very much again.
Am I dismissed?
Well, yes, you can. I'll call upon you in a moment, though.
Okay.
We'll just
I'll pick. Okay.
We'll do it from just a minute, John. It's important, by the way. I just take advantage of the situation, a hug here and a nice word over there type of thing, because it's important that we interact, by the way, with the mayor and city council, with the rest of us in the city and in the region. And partnerships is the basic answer to it. Now, we're going to have the 50-50 draw in just 1 minute and 62 seconds. That's just about 2 minutes and 12 seconds. Anyway, I want to just take a moment to tell you about the vision for 2026. The Special Olympics Canada Summer Games are going to be held in Medicine Hat in 2026. So now I'm going to say, I'm 91 years of age, and I'm going to be hopefully around till 2026. And this will be my last campaign to raise funds. A $2.5 million budget, and we expect to have an economic impact of $8.5 million. So I'm going to ask each of you to, and this is an emotional appeal, I would instead of throwing myself across the table and begging you, I'm just going to motivate you. So what I'd like you to do, if you're a chamber member or a businessman, a person in this room, what I'd ask you to do is sit down when you get back to your office, 5 minutes, well, maybe 6, 5 minutes, and consider the fact that Ken Sauer is asking you if you would donate $200 a year for 4 years, is for $800, and maybe if you want to be even more generous, $300 a year for 4 years is $1,200, and then $400, and then $500, and that's all we ask of you. And then you can say to yourself, if all 800 and some members of the Chamber of Commerce, of which we are part, the Medicine Hat Alberta Game Society, we're part of it, and we're part of the city. We're doing these games on behalf of the city for those who are mentally disadvantaged. And so you can help us. This is my plea, because I may not be around next year along the way, and I hope that whoever is behind me will say, oh, we could depend on that vibrant community of Medicine Hat and Redcliffe and the Prairie, Cypress County and Bow Island and Foremost and so on. Ladies and gentlemen, I plead, think about it seriously, because if you can help us with that donation, and then don't forget, we also have the option of a sponsorship. Because if you want to, we're going to have 34 Sanitec washrooms, and that will probably cost us $16,000. Somebody wants to sponsor that, you tell us, because we're going to have Jerry Gaynor and Rhonda Desjardins, Willie's wife. So those two ladies are going to come out and talk to you, and you can invite them. So if you are a chamber member, all you have to do is drop into the chamber, and you can pay that $200 or $300 or $400 or $500 to them, and then they'll give the money to us. If you are an individual who has no connection to a business, well, then I'll tell you what, we do take donations as well, and we can give you a tax receipt. So I want to put that plea, this is my plea, for you to think about before we do the 50-50. So Mayor Clark is going to dig in now. Get your tickets ready. I have no idea that I would even win here along the way. What is the number? Okay. Mayor Clark will call out the number.
The number is 259-1511. And they have to be here to win?
Yeah, well, absolutely, yes.
Oh! So, sir, I'm not sure if you were picking up on Dr. Sauer's subtle hint about the...
We'd like to know who the winner is, by the way, just in case if someone's surreptitious. And by the way, when we talk about the vision that the mayor has here, we have Colonel Burke, for example, will probably be deployed in about 6 months and will leave us, but his daughter is staying at the Medicine Hat College to take environmental. So we may have this connection, and she'll be working at some time with you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, the dulcet tones of Randy Ferry with the King. Please stand.
God save our gracious King, long live our noble King. God save the King. Send him victorious, happy and glorious, long to reign over us. God save the King.
Thank you. That's beautiful. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I say thank you very much for attending. I know that you were intrigued by the message, and we'll see you next 2024, 4th Tuesday. Keep that date. Thank you for coming. Keep the city and the region strong.